You know that feeling when a market crisis hits? It's like the whole world just goes crazy. But here's a thought. What if that chaos wasn't just a threat? What if it was actually the single biggest wealth-building opportunity of your entire life? In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how you can reframe a market crash and move from pure panic to a clear, actionable plan.
And really, that's the core idea right there. See, the difference between losing everything and, well, building a fortune, it really just boils down to one simple thing: how you react. While almost everyone is driven by fear, a prepared few see the situation for what it really is: a massive sale on the world's best assets.
So why exactly is a crisis the perfect breeding ground for financial growth? Well, it all starts with understanding what a crash actually is. Think of the economy as this, like delicate chain. Companies make money, that creates jobs, people with jobs spend money, and the whole cycle just keeps going. A crisis, like a virus or a supply chain mess, breaks a link in that chain. But the real kicker, the thing that turns a little dip into a total nosedive, it's just mass fear. And this is the absolute key. When investors see this chaos unfolding, what do? They panic. They sell off everything, and that just pushes prices down, down, down. That fear paralyzes most people. But for you, it creates the perfect entry point. It's your chance to adapt, to spot the opportunity, and to actually do something. But before you can even think about investing a single dollar, you have to build up your financial defenses. Now, this isn't the sexy part, I get it, but I promise you, it is absolutely the most important step. This is completely non-negotiable. Seriously, this is the one thing you cannot skip. An emergency or safety fund is the foundation your entire strategy is built on. Without it, you're basically trying to build a skyscraper on sand. It's just not going to work. The method is brutally simple. You've got to get laser focused on one single goal: stacking cash. That means cutting everything that isn't absolutely essential. I'm talking subscriptions, eating out, those late night impulse buys, all of it. And you funnel every single dollar you save directly into that safety fund until you hit your target. And what is that target? What's the magic number? You're shooting for 3 to 5 months worth of your total living expenses. Just enough to cover your rent, your bills, and your food if your income were to just disappear overnight. This is your buffer against the storm. And this is why it's so critical. This fund is your psychological shield. Think about it. If you suddenly get laid off, you won't be freaking out, forced to sell your investments at the absolute worst possible time. It lets you make moves from a place of strength, not total desperation. Okay, so with your fortress secure, now you can shift from defense to offense. And listen, we're not talking about some get-rich-quick scheme here. Nope. We're talking about patient, proven, long-term ways to build real wealth. So there are really two main roads you can go down here. On one side, you've got index funds. They don't require a lot of cash to get started, and they're spread out, so they're diversified. On the other side, you've got real estate. That's going to need more capital for sure, and it's a much more focused bet. Both can be super powerful. They just fit different people and different situations. So, an S&P 500 index fund. Just think of it like a big shopping basket. And in that basket, you've got a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in the US. We're talking Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, the whole gang. Instead of trying to pick one winner, you're betting on the entire American economy to just keep growing over time. It's one of the most solid long-term strategies you can find. Okay, now this is wild. Just let this sink in for a second. Historically speaking, if you bought and held this fund through all the crazy ups and downs for any 20-year period, you would have never lost money. Why does this work? Well, because you're diversified across the entire economy. You're betting on human progress, and over the long haul, that has been a pretty darn good bet. And for real estate, the strategy is pretty similar. You buy low when there's a recession. But the real key here, the secret sauce, is to take all of your emotion and just throw it out the window. People are often desperate to sell, and in those moments, cash is king. You can come in with low offers, and hey, if they say no, you haven't lost a thing. It's all about using their fear to your advantage. All right, so once your long-term foundation is set and chugging along, you might think about putting a little bit of your money into some more aggressive, higher reward plays. But listen, this is the top of the pyramid. This stuff is not for everybody. And this is such a brilliant way to think about being an entrepreneur in a crisis. Are you the gold miner? Digging around hoping to find that one-hit product? It's super high risk. Or are you the shovel seller, providing the essential tools everyone else needs?
During a crisis, everyone's needs suddenly change, right? The shovel seller sees that new, urgent need, like work from home tech during a pandemic, and they sell the tools that everyone is desperate for. It's just a smarter, lower risk way to ride a massive wave.
And that brings us to the riskiest option of them all, buying individual stocks. Look, the potential payday can be huge, but so can the losses. And I gotta be crystal clear here. This is only for money you are 100% prepared to lose, like gone forever. So the big idea here is to be a contrarian. The rules are actually pretty simple, but man, they go against every single one of your gut instincts. When everyone is freaking out and selling, that's when you buy. When you see restaurants totally empty, you buy restaurant stocks. When airlines are grounded, guess what? You buy airline stocks. And then, the flip side, when your Uber driver starts giving you stock tips, that's your sign. That's when you sell. So we've covered the whole playbook, right? Defense, offense, even the advanced stuff. So what's the one big idea you need to walk away with? It's this, right here. Look, huge disruption. It causes a lot of pain, no doubt about it. But it's also not the end of the world. For the people who are prepared, for the people who are ready to take calculated, decisive action, it is a golden opportunity to build massive wealth while everyone else is just trying to figure out what happened. Look, history tells us pretty clearly that another crisis isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. So the real question you've got to ask yourself is this: when it comes, are you going to follow the panic or are you going to follow the plan? The choice is yours.